We're live now.
Yes.
Hi, guys. It's our last live for 2022. Wow. Been a few. We've had a few.
Yay.
We're painting pure wool today. Little sheep. It's the most recent one in this series of cattle tags. Have two more to go. We have a goat and a horse left. So we'll be working on those with you guys in the next few weeks. And today we're going to be painting pure wool. I love this one with the little sheep. I think he's adorable. And of course, we put in some brown-eyed Susans just for fun. You know I love my daisies, so I thought a brown-eyed Susan would be the ideal thing for this week. But before we get to painting, we have a few little things to cover. And before Linda Safranco can beat me to it, I'm going to tell you about the giveaways this week. So this week we have 3 drawing sets, and we added a couple of little bonus items to the giveaway this week. We have electric erasers. Fabulous little kit from Mustache. And then we have a Tombow drawing set. So you get a mechanical pencil and you get one of a set of their fabulous professional artists pencils. They're fantastic. You're going to love this little set. And then of course we always throw in some other little goodies too. So we have 3 of those to give away today. Our shout out for this week goes to dickblick.com. And my reasoning for this is that they have an absolutely spectacular after holiday sale going on right now. And what really piqued my interest about that was they have a sale on their stretched canvas, their premium stretched canvas that you just simply cannot beat. So go and check them out at dickblick.com. They have tons, and I do mean tons, of really great art supplies available. They do carry Jack Ryston, which I'm a huge fan. So if you're looking for Gray Matters palette or the new Gray Matters brushes, you'll find them there. What else is on Dick Blick? Everything. If you're looking for a new medium to play with, then Dick Blick is a great place to start because they have a huge selection and pretty good pricing as well. Yes, that shiny blob that you saw was the top of his head. The glare.
It burns.
It burns. So if you've got a few minutes and a little left in your Christmas crafty budget, go and check out dickblick.com. There's all kinds of really great deals on right now. Their canvas is crazy cheap and it's great quality canvas. So go and check that out. And as far as Happy Mail, it was an off week. It's a holiday week, so we didn't get a lot of mail delivery. What did I get this week? Oh, I got packaging for pattern packets. That was the big Happy Mail this week until this morning. This morning, I got a rap on the door and a beautiful flower arrangement was delivered to me from our always fabulous Miss Sandy McTeer with the note on it to have a happy birthday month. And yep, January is my birth month. So we're going to be having a lot of really cool things happening this month. Some fun sales. We're going to have some fun projects. And of course, going to start the year off right. There's a brand new printable going up this afternoon. So you guys be able to download that in the free printable section on my website. What about you? Did you have any news today? Anything you wanted to say?
No, not really.
No?
No.
How's Puppy today?
A little worried, but I think she's just gassy.
She's off her food today.
Yeah, she's taking treats from Dad, though.
Okay, well, if she's taking treats, there's nothing too serious. Yeah. It's when she gives up on her treats that
I think she's just gassy. I think she's bloated.
Yep. Oh, great. Judy Thacker and I have something in common. Aside from the obvious. It's her birthday month as well. I'm looking. I finally managed to get the chats. I have Facebook chat on the iPad and I have the YouTube chat on my phone. So I'm just trying to catch up with everybody. And Judy Galt's here, and Carrie Lozana's here, and Linda Griffith, Lucy DeMatt is here, Sheila, hello, sweetheart, and Sue Schreiber, hello from your car. Oh, they're going to the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. I hope you're not the one driving. That's all I can say. If you're watching YouTube, texting, and whatnot, I hope you're not the one that's driving. And Diane Hendricks. Hi, Diane. Nice to see you. And Jessica. Good grief, Tracy. Do I really need to shop at St. Atlantic? Well, you probably don't, but, if nothing else, I will enable. All right. So everybody, it's so great to see everybody here. Awesome. Faye Reed. Yes. Isn't Faye the one that said we were undergoing a little heat wave here?
Yeah.
And yeah, we are undergoing a little heat wave. We had snow yesterday. Yesterday was a snow day, so we heard the plow rumbling by, and today it's all melting. It's beautiful warm today.
It's squishy.
And squishy. Yeah, everything. I don't like. Ugh. I'd rather have the snow. So just having a quick look. Karen Boylan. Hello, my dear. There's so many of you that come every weekend. Beth Root. Beth, hi, sweetie. Hope you had a great holiday. Robin Storm. I think our broken wing is healing, which is good to know. And I just do a quick check. Kim Ish. Hi, Kim. I was thinking about you the other day. I was painting a new skull design. And whenever I paint, I don't know why, but every time I paint a skull, Kim comes to mind. She's a beautiful lady. You just love her. She's great. And Andrea George. Pig Brandywee. Hi, sweetie. Nice to see you.
Oh,
And
wow.
Tracy Craig. Holy smokes, everybody's here today. That's great.
Winnipeg's getting a heat wave too. Only -9
Wow.
in January.
In January. That is a heat wave for Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So we're going to relax, have a little bit of fun. We have some great giveaways. We'll have a few giggles and just in general enjoy our Saturday with some fun painting. So we're going to paint pure wool. I love this one. I just think it's fun. And I've been playing with some other design ideas. Qu'est-ce que c'est? It's 8 degrees here.
Yeah, it's 8 degrees.
Yeah.
8.
8. Yeah. +8.
Yeah, not -8.
Yeah. It's 8 above. I know there's friends in the States are going, seriously? That's warm? Yes,
Celsius.
it's 8 Celsius. So, yeah, it's above zero.
Not freedom units.
Yeah. Everybody said, oh, Robin Storm, there's no telling how long my tree is going to be up. Mine comes down tomorrow.
Like a hand grenade.
Like, yeah. As much as I love Christmas and I love the decorating and whatnot, by the time New Year's hits, I can't wait to get it all put away.
Christmas is done.
Well, it's not that. It's just, it's the clutter for me. Like, there comes a point where the clutter is just too much. So, anyway, having said all of that.
Really? There's no snow?
Where?
We're out near Faye Reed.
Down south? No, they got all the rain last week.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. We had that mix.
Yeah, we had that. Don't know if I want to snow or rain.
Yeah, we had the mix. Yeah, they got mostly rain down that end. All right, guys, if you are ready to get started on pure wool, so am I.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. So this is the little guy we're painting. So somebody messaged the other day that they weren't keen on the blue eyes. And I've only ever seen 2 colors of eyes on sheep. I've seen blue and I've seen brown. The only reason I went with blue in this case was so that I could tie it to the background. But traditionally they would most likely be brown. But I wanted to tie the sheep to the background. It was either that or give him a blue bow, and I didn't want to do that. So this is the little guy we're going to be painting. Again, he's elevated slightly. I like that little bit of elevation. It just gives this piece a little fun. And we're going to do this this little broken paint detail around the outside edge. This one works up really, really quick. It is not a difficult paint, but it is a lot of fun, and there's some fun little techniques, and there's some fun brushes to use in this one too. So we're going to get started with that background, and it's super simple. And the first thing I'm going to do is ask Renee to reach into my box of stencils over there and give me a 3/4 inch check. I was prepping my piece this morning and I realized I used the wrong size of checkerboard stencil. Not that it really matters, but that's a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, and it was in your 3/4 inch.
Why? Excellent. So this is the stencil I should have used. It was a 3/4 inch traditional checkerboard stencil. God, I seem to be using the word a lot lately.
And you got a 3/4 inch check and your 1/4 inch check.
Oh, goodness.
You're just all over the place.
Ugh. Which drives me insane. So we have 3/4 inch checkerboard stencil. I like to take it off my surface a little bit. I always find that if everything just fits perfectly, it just doesn't read all that well. So if you take it off the surface a little, it just makes things a bit more interesting. And we're going to first make sure that it's straight and level. You don't want your checkerboards going upside down. If you were feeling a little sassy, you could put them on the...
You could just use Harlequin.
Harlequin? Yeah, Harlequin's a little more contemporary, though, for this. But a checkerboard, you could put it on this way if you really wanted to. Buffalo check would work as well.
I like buffalo check.
Come to that. Polka dots would be cute back there.
Little white polka dots?
Yeah. Not little. I'd go bigger.
Yeah?
Yeah, some nice big polka dots, random polka dots. So you're not obligated to use checkerboard stencil. The only reason I did was because it tends to be used a lot in more country designs. It's a bit more traditional, but who said you had to do it traditional?
I think buffalo check would be more appropriate.
Yeah, buffalo check would look good too. So I'm using a little bit of warm white and Stencil Pro stencil brush. Now, these checks do not have to be perfect. They do not have to be fully opaque. So when you're putting the color on, work in a circular fashion, change directions frequently. Just helps give you a more uniform finish.
Vicky says, I was wearing fur boots on Christmas, and today I'm wearing sandals and a tank top.
Yeah, there's a few people in some more southern states there that are... storm was ridiculous.
I'm wearing muckluck style slippers.
Moccasins. I gave my boys moccasins for Christmas.
Got real fur.
They're Manitoba moccasins. They're made in Manitoba.
That was a coyote.
Probably. I know that they...
If it came from Manitoba, yeah, it was definitely coyote.
Yeah. And doeskin.
Doeskin and coyote.
So, I've got one coat on there, although it doesn't look it. This is about as uniform as we want. It doesn't have to be perfect. So, I'm going to...
Manitoba mucklucks. Yep.
Dominic has a pair of those. The mucklucks.
I have the moccasins.
Yeah, he has moccasins. I have 2 pairs of their moccasins. I love them. They're beautifully made, too. It's a native company based in Manitoba, and they're just... Their work, the quality of and the workmanship is beautiful. I have the walking shoes, and I just love them. That's what I got Deb for Christmas, too.
Did she get them already?
Yep.
Right on.
So I had a little bleed under there, mainly because I had too much paint in my brush. So I'm just going to finish off. I've only got a couple more little squares here to do. And again, they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be neat and tidy. They don't even have to be fully opaque. So there we go. Now, I've got a few little baubles in there, but that's okay. Those things don't really matter at this point. So to prep this, I better dry this first. I've had a couple of little things, like little bleeds here. Again, simply because I had too much paint in my brush, but For this particular project, it doesn't matter because we're going to sand the living bejesus out of it.
Oh, Don Novell's here.
So once this is completely dry, you're going to take a sanding sponge and you're going to sand vertically. Like so. And you're going to do this until you start wearing through some of that paint. I kind of like this so that we get that worn appearance. And I like vertically because it just creates a pattern. And that gives us a nice smooth finish, like the surface is nice and smooth. And it's a little bit distressed, just a little. And you can see some of the brush marks from the base coat right through the paint. And so it's soft, but it doesn't destroy the overall look. So we get this nice soft finish. Then I take that sanding sponge and I just open up the edges a little bit.
Do you sell those sanders?
These? No, these are available anywhere. You can use the sanding discs or those sponges from Home Depot. I have one in a package. Let me show you. These are from Demis Products. They're reusable and washable, so you can run these under water once they get a little clogged up. And they're also made in the USA from Demis Products in Lithonia, Georgia. And these are available most places. I mean, I got these ones from Stockade. And these are fantastic, but I've also seen these on Amazon and a variety of different places. So I love the little opening in the package so you can tell what grit it is. There's a coarse one on one side and a fine on the other. Love this. 100 and 220. These are really handy.
Oh, Jessica's wondering if you got any new M2 square stencils for 2023.
We do.
Ooh.
They will not be available until probably about end of January. But yes, we do have some new ones.
Dun, dun, dun.
Talking with Miss Sandy, we have had a couple of ideas that we're still trying to flesh out a little bit, but
I think you got to discontinue some.
we are discontinuing some, but we're going to be adding some new ones as well. So I'm rather excited about that because it's going to be fun. And I'm also adding a new stencil line to the website in the next few weeks. And it's a series of mini border stencils. They're really nice. Quite nice. My first shipment should be here in probably a couple of weeks.
Hopefully.
With a little bit of luck. So once you have this checkerboard in, I've opened up my edges a little bit. We're going to take a little bit of lamp black and a round brush or a liner or rigger, whatever you have handy. And we're going to add sort of a chippy border to the outside edge. Now, a lot of you have seen me do this before, so this is nothing new. But for those that haven't seen this done, this is how it's done. You're just going to roll the brush along, sort of a push-pull, so that you get this really irregular line of kind of chipped paint. And just go all the way around the outside edge. Opening up that edge just helps this paint, this black paint, stick better. So you just do that push-pull, roll the brush along, so that you just end up with this sort of irregular and chipped look all the way around the outside edge. And then once that's dry, you can trace and transfer your line drawing on. So I'm going to dry this really quickly, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side because I haven't done that yet. I already have my line drawing on there, so I really should have the edge finished. Now on this one, I used the smaller 1/2 inch check. I grabbed the wrong stencil and had it done before I realized that it was the wrong one. And I love this Bahama blue for this. It's just nice and light and fresh. Purina Feed Company. They still make dog food and cat food, and well, they still make food for all sorts of creatures, but their logo for many, many years was a red and white checkerboard. So it would just have their company name across the top and this red and white checkerboard, and that has kind of fallen into a cultural thing now. So if it's country or farmhouse or whatever, the checkerboard falls into that. And it just reminds people of that. Purina Feed Company. I'm not even sure it's still called Purina.
Yeah, it's still called Purina.
Yeah. There we go. Ta-da! Love it. So you know it's going to have asphaltum in it because it's mine. So we're going to start with a little bit of asphaltum. I've already got my line drawings on here, so I have my lettering in place down here. And a 1/2 inch angle. Going to take a little bit of asphaltum, and I'm going to put a weak float of heavily thinned asphaltum all the way around the outside edge.
You know who owns Purina?
Who?
Nestle.
Oh, something. I think I knew that. So nice weak float all the way around the outside. It's not a harsh color. Good grief. What?
How do you keep your workspace free of paint? She doesn't.
I don't.
She just cleans up after herself.
Yeah. No, if you had been here last night, I was trying to base coat a huge canvas with black. I had black paint everywhere. And I do mean everywhere.
That's a funny one.
It is funny. I have a tendency to take my rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer and clean off my workspace. If I didn't, this would just be a mess. Has anyone else gotten an error in chat?
An error?
Yeah.
I can't say I have.
Deb Bloomfield's here. Janet Roach is here. They're called Purina 1 in France. Don't ask me why they added the 1. Purina 1 is a pet food line here.
Yeah, Purina 1 is a higher quality pet food line.
Yeah, that's all. That's what we use on our kitty cat. Yeah. So I've got just a weak float of the asphaltum around the outside edge. It gives this a nice little little bit of aging, which works for me. So we have daisies. Well, they're actually brown-eyed Susans. I love daisies and brown-eyed Susans, probably my favorite flower. So I have a tendency to paint them quite often. They also end up in a lot of the printables because, well, they're daisies and they're just fun to paint. So I'm going to scare up my rigger and a little bit of warm white. You can do this with gesso as well. I like to use warm white simply because it's what I can reach at this point. But a little bit of warm white paint or a little bit of gesso will work just fine. Now, because I'm working on a blue background and our flowers are yellow, I need a base, something underneath this. Otherwise, my petals are going to look a little green, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to quickly stroke in these petals with a little bit of warm white. I'm using a rigger to do this. You can use a liner or a small round. It doesn't really matter. You just need a smaller brush to do it with. And it's just to prevent that blue from affecting the yellow. That's all that we're doing this for. It also gives the yellow a much better base so that we get good coverage out of the yellow. Yellows are notoriously hard to cover. You don't have to be absolutely meticulous about this. As you can see, I leave a little space between so that I'm not having to retrace, because I don't like to retrace anything. So I base coated my canvas yesterday for my memberships. My paid members group, their pattern is going up on the 2nd, and I had to rework a few things in their pattern for the month because I was not happy with the way it was turning out. So I decided that I was going to redo it, and I enlarged the line drawings for it by 250%. So that I decided I wanted to do it on a much larger surface. And so I have the canvases that I'm working on is huge. The canvas is 20 by 30 inches. Now, ordinarily when we're doing this type of work, our pieces are not usually as big for a couple of reasons. I try to keep them small so that we're not, because of the cameras, we want to be able to get as close as we can. If it's a large surface, that's very difficult to do. And in this confined space, and I say confined, being able to keep it within the scope of the camera, it's very difficult to work on a really large piece. So I've designed the piece for a smaller surface, but decided that I wanted my copy or my piece to be much larger. So the technique won't change, but the surface sure did. So right now it is 20 by 30 inches long. It's a big piece. So, but I redid it because I wasn't happy with the way it was turning out. So I'm excited about it. I think my group will be excited about it too. But it'll be a fun class. I can promise you that. So all of these little petals, as you can see, I'm just sort of stroking them in. I'm not overly concerned with them being perfect. I'm not overly concerned with anything being perfect because perfection is virtually impossible to achieve, and I don't think that it serves you to try and attain it. Do things well, yes. Do them neatly, do them properly, yes. But perfection, I think, is something that needs to be avoided because it puts too much pressure on a person to get there, unnecessary pressure to get there. So I'm almost done here. I'm just quickly putting this base in just so my yellows are nice and bright and that they are not green. Going over top of this blue, my concerns would be that they would look more green than yellow, and I want a nice bright yellow. So I have daisies, brown-eyed Susans that are not quite brown yet. So while I have my rigger out, I'm going to paint my centers with a little bit of asphaltum. Love this color. So I was terribly spoiled over Christmas. My family was very good to me. Renee gave me a beautiful, beautiful ring for Christmas. It's a series of honeycombs and diamonds. It's a gorgeous ring. And then a little tiny stackable band with a bumblebee on it that I thought was just adorable. And my daughter gave me a beautiful sweater. And my husband gave me a beautiful piece of jewelry as well. So I was very, very spoiled this Christmas. You know, got some new cookware and some new glassware. I was very happy about that. So I was pampered and spoiled, and I enjoyed every minute of it. So we also have a little bit of greenery back here. And I'm going to bring a little bit of that white in there too, I think. I was just telling them how you guys spoiled me for Christmas.
Now, up next is your birthday.
Yeah. It's a big one this year.
What? 45?
Oh, you ass. 45. No, I'm 60 this
45
year.
plus shipping and handling.
Yes, I'm 45 plus shipping and handling. Yeah, okay. Yep. I'm 60 this year. Woo! I made it this long.
You survived.
I did. And I have a low body count. So
You're not spoiled, you're just well cared for.
that's true, I am. But no, yeah, I got spoiled. Okay, so I've got my leaves coated with a little bit of warm white. Got all the petals done with warm white. Centers are based with asphaltum. So I'm going to pull a little bit of green into all of that greenery back there. I've got a little bit of antique green, but I'm kind of feeling the fluid acrylic vibe today. So I'm going to pull a little bit of green gold, because I love green gold.
You're a youngin'.
I'm a youngin'. Still get the football helmet hair, but
Shipping gets more expensive all the time.
it does, doesn't it? Yeah. It does indeed. So I'm just pulling a little bit of that green gold. I'm using fluid acrylics. You can use antique green back there. Any one of your favorite greens will work. I'm kind of feeling the fluid acrylic thing these days. I'm a big fan of these. I love my fluid acrylics.
I would take my dog for a walk, but she is not
having it today?
not having it today.
Poor Papa Dog.
I think it's the humidity.
Yeah. She's been thoroughly enjoying the Christmas season.
She got spoiled.
Did she ever?
She got another bark box on the way.
Her and her Burke box.
2 out of the 3 toys have survived from the last one.
Barely.
There's a snowman, and it looks like a gingerbread man being rolled over by a rolling pin. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's a gingerbread cookie being rolled over by a rolling pin.
Alrighty.
The Christmas tree, however.
That one didn't do well.
That one...
Yeah.
That one didn't take long for her to destroy.
No.
But the other 2 are holding up quite well.
And her lamb chop?
Lamb chop, she's snuggling with it right now.
Yeah. lamb chop was stuck out of her stocking. The head was sticking out of her stocking for about, what, a week and a half? Every time we would take her to go outside, she would have to stop and sniff the stocking because she knew it was in there.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't let her have it. So she had to wait for Christmas. But Christmas morning was funny. Watching her open that bark box was hilarious. It's worth the price of admission. So we have some green on our leaves. And we have white on our petals. So now we're going to start building up these flowers. Now, I used a little bit of Sunny Day for my flowers. I gotta find my Sunny Day. I seem to be running out of some key colors. I go through a tremendous amount of paint, it seems. So I have a little bit of Sunny Day on here. I'm gonna break out my Joe Sonias here. So, as I said, I wanted this white down so that I would get nice bright yellow that doesn't have a greenish cast. If I put this yellow over top of that blue, it would read green. You would see a tremendous amount of green coming through. And because I put the white down, I only need one coat of this yellow. And I get nice bright yellow. So having that little bit of white down there makes a world of difference.
So for those in the United States, go to barkbox.com.
Yep.
And you get 50% off your first BarkBox. Don't have to use a code or anything.
Yeah. Wow.
And for those in Canada, you can go to Wolfpack.
Wolfpack.com. And do their BarkBox that way.
And do BarkBox that way.
Yeah.
Or sorry, wolfpacks.ca.
Yeah. So I have been, I've had a lot of questions about surfaces. I mean, things are getting a little difficult to find. And specialized surfaces, as much fun as they are, they can get a little pricey. Shipping can be very expensive, etc. So I've been kind of doing a little bit of research to see what's available to people that's a little less expensive. I mean, we all have budgets when it comes to our hobbies, so it's a good idea to try to make that budget stretch as far as it will. But for my Canadian friends, I wanted to show you this. These are 1/8 MDF. There's 6 in a pack. These are 10 inches square. Well, 9.8 inches square. 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters. They're $4 a pack. I can't buy a sheet of MDF that cheap.
Nope.
So $4 at Dollarama. If you're looking for a really great surface, these are freaking fantastic. And you can frame these just like you would a small canvas or what have you. They are absolutely fantastic. So at $4, 6 surfaces of 8, almost 10 inches square.
Oh.
Beautiful surface. So just FYI, if you're in Canada, locate your favorite Dollarama.
Kelly Albright.
Hi, Kelly.
Asking what the difference between fluid acrylic and acrylics are.
Okay, great question. Americana acrylics, they are very well pigmented. They're a great quality paint for the price that you pay for them. The fluid acrylics, exceptionally high pigmentation, very highly pigmented, but they have very few solids in them. So most of the colors within the fluid acrylics are transparent. There are a few exceptions. The gray values and the warm white or the Titan buff are about the only colors that are transparent. So out of, I think it's 48 colors, there are only 6 that are fully opaque. So very transparent, but very highly pigmented. So you get a ton of color with very little paint. So you can put out drops of fluid acrylic. I'm a huge fan of these. One, for the pigmentation is intense. You get nice, vibrant, over-the-top colors, but you don't have to use much. You can do watercolor effects with these. You can do your traditional toll painting. Because they're transparent, they make great shading colors. So I use them a lot in conjunction with the Americana acrylics as well. But if you have a small palette of these, just using some basic colors, a red, a yellow, a green, a couple of blues, maybe a purple, you can paint almost anything with them. They're absolutely fantastic. They are a little more expensive than your traditional toll painting colors like the Americanas. But again, these are going to go a lot further for you as far as color goes. The pigmentation is exceptional. If you wanted to look at a comparison, 1-to-1, apples to apples, golden fluid acrylics and Americana are at about par when it comes to pigmentation and quality. So if you are looking for something a bit more affordable than perhaps the golden acrylics, have a serious look at these. You're going to love them. I'm a little obsessed. I have a full rack. I have a full line.
Of course you do.
Then again, I have a full line of the oh my God, my brain shut off again. The inks from P.H. Martin. I'm a huge fan. I've got to have sets, but these I think are probably one of my favorite products that Decaware makes is these Decaware fluid acrylics. And they're actually becoming a little easier to get. Throughout the pandemic, they were not an easy product to find, but they are getting easier to locate.
Mm-hmm. I heard Decaware was going to stop making green gold.
There has been some talk about that, but they have not issued a list of colors that they're discontinuing yet, so don't put the cart before the horse. Again, purely rumor at this point.
Are there Dollarama stores in the U.S. or do they ship to the U.S.?
I can't tell you. I have no idea. It is a Canadian store. But Dollaramas are great here in the border. I know there's one just across the border from Buffalo. So if you live close to the Canadian border, it's a great place to go. It's funny, we have Dollaramas in the Great Canadian Dollar Store, which is another great place to go in Canada for craft supplies.
When is gloss acrylics used?
That is a matter of preference. I'll be perfectly blunt. Some people really like shiny gloss acrylics. I've never been a fan. I've always preferred a matte finish. But some people prefer that change in sheen. Oh my goodness. I think honestly it's a personal preference. I like the ability to decide when I'm painting something what I want, if I want something to be shiny. And then I can use a gloss medium added to my acrylics, to my regular acrylics, if I want something to be shiny. But in general, I shy away from paints that have a shiny finish. It's just a preference.
Yeah. In the automotive industry, you don't want anything with a gloss in it.
No.
It's cheap.
It looks and feel. I've never cared for the texture of them.
No.
Yeah.
It's cheap because in automotive, it's usually they've already combined a clear coat.
Yeah.
With the paint.
Yeah.
And it's good for touch-ups.
Yeah, but not.
But
so
even
good.
the best touch-up kits out there,
yeah,
are like a 3-piece.
Yeah.
They have 3 different types of fluids that you have to put together and become a chemist
to
make a good touch-up. You have your actual pigment, your binder, and your hardener, kind of like an epoxy.
Yeah.
And then you still have to clear coat it. That's a good touch-up kit.
Because then it doesn't look like it's been touched up.
Exactly.
So I think I've got all my yellows in. I much prefer having that Look how bright that yellow is now against all that blue. And it's the blue and the yellow are complementary to each other, so that works really well.
I want to do a motorcycle in rock guard. You know, the bed liner stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Never have to worry about scratches again.
Never. Just short of bulletproof.
Yeah. But then there's the you can't make it shiny. You can't make rock guard shiny.
No.
And I mean, shiny bikes are nice. What was that?
What?
There's like the ultimate black paint.
Oh, yes.
You've seen that?
Yes.
I want to do a gas tank in that.
In the ultimate black?
The ultimate black?
Well, Decor actually made an ultimate black.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they designed it specifically to partner up with some other products. And my knees wobble when I paint with that black, because it is just as dark as the inside of Satan's pocket. It is.
Yeah.
Just the most absolute black I've ever seen. It's beautiful.
That black in combination with a neon.
Yeah.
For like pinstriping. Mm-hmm. It would just make pinstriping just explode off of a gas tank.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. But I don't know if I could. That pigment doesn't spray well from what I hear. It is a brush on.
It brushes on, but what I loved about the one that Decor made is that it's self-leveling. So you could brush it on and virtually no brush marks.
I can live with that.
Yeah. It's a fun color. Here it is. Ultra black.
Is it as black as they...
It's as black as the inside of Satan's pocket.
Ultra black base.
Yeah. Well, here, let me show these folks. So, Decor put out a product line called Enchanted, which was a line of iridescent paints.
Okay, that explains why it's such a dark
black. Yeah, and to get iridescence to really show off, you need to have a really dark background. So, Decor created this, which is the ultra black base coat. And essentially, they took lamp black and kicked it up notches. So it is, when I say black, it is black as a politician's soul. Look at that. You know, it is so black, and it is an ultra matte, so it dries beautifully matte. And so when you're working iridescent pigments over top of it, you get all of that, you know, that in your face look. So if you're looking for a seriously black, this is it right here. And it's just a standard Americana color, but they've gone a lot further with it as far as pigment goes. So it's super black. I love it.
I must not be getting the YouTube. Apparently there's a question from Linda.
What makes Decor chalky gesso turn chunky and brown looking? I've not used it much at all. Is it the black? Or is it, which color are you working with? Usually when you get something like that, it's because it needs to be stirred or shaken really well. Yeah, you've really got to stir it well. And I'll give you a secret. Go find an old hand mixer.
Yeah.
I use that a lot. I have an old hand mixer, the type with the two blades. Throw your gesso into a container, something that will work with that hand mixer, and give it a good stir. When you start getting those chunky bits and that brown color that seems to be leaching into it, those are just all the various components that have separated. If it sits for any length of time, because that chalky gesso has a very high solids content, it needs to be shaken or stirred frequently.
It's the wrong... No, I didn't see Linda's...
I got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There we go.
You found it?
I found it. Yeah. Yes, Janet, the gold in the fluid acrylics, I have to agree with you. It is one of the best gold metallics I have ever seen. It covers beautifully. Absolutely.
Oh, it was the white that turned brown on her.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's not unusual.
No?
No.
Okay.
It just needs a really good stir. There is I have it right here.
Didn't want to throw the bottle away.
No, don't throw it out. It's fine. You got to give it a good stir. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but there is a yellow liquid. No, mine's closed. It separates. And so you end up with like layers on your jar. This one needs a seriously good stir. It's very chunky at the bottom because all the solids have set to the bottom. And then you get this brown liquid that sort of floats at the top. But a good blend with a hand mixer and it will work just fine.
Like it never happened.
Like it never happened. Oops. Dropped it. Okay.
I forgot to do something.
What did you forgot to do?
Well, I forgot to move previous month's membership video over to the other membership.
Okay.
So, for those on the Creating with Tracy videos membership platform, which is I think the $5.99 option.
Yep.
Where you just get access to the videos.
Yeah.
You'll always be a month behind the other members.
Yeah.
But you will get their previous month.
Yeah.
You just won't. It'll be a month behind.
Yep.
It only seems fair.
Yep.
I just have to go move that video over. If I can get to the right spot.
So I'm just quickly putting a little bit extra green gold in here. It's a little thin. There we go. I am, there is a list actually of my favorite fluid acrylic colors. I'm going to dry this really quickly. Can you cut the chipboard? Yes, absolutely. If you've got a scroll saw, you can cut it into all sorts of shapes. That's what I mean. It's that those MDF panels, there's 6 of them in there. You can't buy a sheet at Home Depot for that price. So yeah, scroll back up.
I believe it was the beginner drawing skills.
Yep.
So beginner drawing skills is now going to be available to both.
Mm.
There we go.
So now that I've got our daisies base coated, we can start doing the fun stuff because, you know, base coating is boring. It gets us where we need to be, but it's not the most fun stuff. But this is the fun stuff when you start adding things. So I'm going to grab a little bit of Orange Flame, my favorite orange. Who's got peach vodka?
Ew.
I know. Actually, don't knock it. Absolute had an absolutely fabulous vodka that I tried, which rose petal and grapefruit. It was so good.
I can understand grapefruit.
Oh, the rose petal and grapefruit was fabulous. It's very smooth. It was really, really nice. I love my beach vodka. I got a skull for Christmas.
It's on its way.
No, I got a skull for Christmas.
Oh, you got the skull vodka.
Yeah, somebody gave me... I thought it was you that gave me that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I got a skull. The old crystal skull. Yeah. Love it. I'm almost afraid to open it. I know it's going to be good vodka, but
Could be paint thinner for all we know.
So we're going to start adding some dimension to our little flowers here. I'm using smaller angled shader. I've switched to a 3/8.
Okay, no, we're good there.
And I'm going to shade the base of my petals nearest the center with a little bit of orange flame.
Love Letters is staying with the members until next month.
Yeah.
Nope. Cool.
So little float towards the center. It's also what we use to separate these petals. Little bit. So wherever the petals overlap, you're going to put a little float of that orange flame. Just helps give these petals a bit more dimension. Separates them nicely. And it's a weak float. I don't have a ton of color on this brush. Just a little. But it's enough. There we go.
What? There's a... Oh, that would have been cool.
What's that?
Apparently, Valerie Clemens got the same thing.
Oh, did she?
The skull vodka.
Yeah.
But hers came with 4 little skull shot glasses.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I have the little bottle. Somebody gave it to me at a show one year. This great little skull.
Actually, I mainly bought it for one. She does like good vodka.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a good vodka, but it was in the shape of a skull.
Yeah.
So
that's reason enough.
That was reason enough to get it for her. She doesn't do shots, so I don't think she needs the little shot glasses. But they would have been skulls.
I would do shots of good vodka.
But one of her Christmas gifts hasn't shown up yet. It'll be here, hopefully.
Yeah, one of your father's gifts didn't show up either.
No, yeah.
Patrick's, the box I sent to Patrick hasn't shown up yet either.
No.
So everything's a little slow. It's all good.
She's getting a bowl that she likes to eat her her noodles out of.
Yeah.
It's a skull.
I love it. It's like remember this scene in Game of Thrones where Buddy is drinking wine out of Mormont's skull.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But this one's a bowl.
It's a bowl. I eat my noodles out of it.
So it's doesn't have a lower jaw.
Oh, I hope not. And hopefully they filled all the gaps. Otherwise it'll leak.
Be perfect for ramen or pho.
Oh no, Jessica's not well.
Oh no. Why? She's sick?
Hope not.
Okay, Reynolds, I'm late thanks to COVID. What?
Oh my goodness. Robin Storm, you sent me a box. Oh my gosh.
Why?
Everything's slow and it's the holiday season, so it's, tis what it is. So I'm just going to deepen this shading in a few little places, but I like that little bit of orange. Gives these a nice sunny, bright, sunny look. And I'm going to let that dry, but we're going to shade our leaves and stems in here. It doesn't need a lot, but it does need some. I'm going to be using this, which is sap green. I love this green, and this one is almost empty.
Vodka cranberry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Vodka cranberry. Yum. So sap green, I'm going to use that for my shading color. If you don't have sap green, plantation pine will work just fine. So it is a very strong color. I will tell you that right now. That sap green is really strong, so blend it out well. And this is our shading color for these leaves. I've been spending my free time, well, making time actually, to work with my pencils. And I've been having entirely too much fun.
Too much fun. There's no such thing.
It's too much fun when it's keeping you from doing the things you're supposed to be doing. You know, like writing up patterns and things. But I've really been enjoying a little downtime in playing with my pencils.
As this big canvas you were working on.
Yeah, and this big canvas I'm working on. I'm loving it, though.
Yeah.
I think my group is going
You
to...
haven't done something big like that in a long time. So.
I know, and that's one of the reasons. I designed it to be smaller.
Yeah.
So that people can put it on a smaller and we can teach on a smaller scale. But I wanted the finished piece to hang up. And I wanted a bigger piece. So that's why I blew up my line drawings 250%. So now I have a nice big line drawing.
Is that for the...
membership group.
Yeah. For those with palettes and paintbrushes next to your name, I'm staring at the your next project.
Yeah. I had to go into the storeroom and get my Da Vinci easel. It's a big one.
the easel that has treated you quite well.
It has. My husband gave it to me a number of years ago, and I just love it because I can put really big canvases on it. So for the center area of this, we're going to shade the forward part of the center right along the bottom edge. It's just a little float of lamp black. And we're only coming up about 1/3 of the way. It's just going to give this a little more depth. And then we're going to put a shadow in the center that's just a little C shape, just to create a little divot in the middle of the flower. And I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Nice little shadow along the foreground and then a little divot in the center.
Chat's not very active today.
No, they're quiet.
Whoa.
Speak too soon, did you?
Yeah, it just went...
So, Janet, can I call dibs on it now? Oh, Judy, I totally understand. When I got COVID, first week of October?
Yeah.
I was still coughing halfway through November.
Yeah.
So, I totally get it. It's awful.
I got my taste back at the beginning of November.
Yeah. I got my taste buds back around then, too. But it took a good 6 to 8 weeks before I was 100%. I still get the odd headache, though, which drives me nuts. So, I love my daisies.
Oh, see, that's a scary message.
What's that?
Sean saying, the three of us are saving up money to come visit you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. The
Three
three
of us?
3 of us. So I'm willing to bet that's Steve.
Steve, yeah.
Sean. And either Tyler or
Gavin.
Oh, no, not Gavin. No, Gavin's got 3 little ones he's got to worry about.
That's true, yeah. That is frightening.
Steve, Sean. It's either Hava or Tyler.
What is this?
That's scary. That's a scary thought.
Karen says that her New Year's resolution is to make time, to spend time in her studio.
That's a good one.
Jessica says, heck yes. I'm working on my New Year's resolution. That's a really good one.
I hope 2023 will bring you the right conditions to keep your resolutions.
Yeah. Oh, Judy, yeah, absolutely. Sinus headaches are the worst. And yeah, after COVID, I had them constantly. I still get them every once in a while. Okie dokie, Mom. I don't want to people. I'm with you there. I don't want to people either. I like these people because I can keep them at a distance. I know. Every time I went out, I seemed like I'd come home with something. Yes, Janet, absolutely. Totally get the drippy nose thing. Yeah. Been there too. I'm following the chat, trying to keep everybody. So I've got some nice shading around the center. I'm actually liking this one better than the first one. I'm going to deepen that shading a little bit with a little float of asphaltum. I'm heavily thinning this. Just a weak float of asphaltum. There we go. So just to deepen that color a little bit towards the center of the flowers. So it's heavily thinned, so it's a very weak float. I just like what it does for the orange in this piece. Yep, with you, Patrick. I think as we get older, our circle of friends and acquaintances becomes a bit more selective. No. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. There we go. So, my shading has all been deepened a little bit. Just needed a touch. Makes that orange seem a little earthier, not quite so in your face. Now I've got some nice little shading on my leaves. You can deepen it if you like. I was just finding this isn't quite dark enough. There we go. I like it. Okay, so we're going to start adding a little bit of texture to the center of these flowers. I'm going to do that with a little bit of warm white and my rigger. And I'm just going to use just some very loose little dots. Soft light. I like going past the edges a little bit. I am not using big dots. I like the little dots. There we go. I think that the little dots just make the centers feel a little more airy and a little more light. Just works for me. And I always come past the edges of that center out over the petals a little bit. I just find that it makes the center feel a little softer. Like so. But you don't have to do a ton, just a little bit. So I'm going to dry this and then we're going to start talking about this lettering. The color that I used for this was Prussian blue, I believe. I wanted a nice dark blue for this, in keeping with the tone of our background. So I'm going to use a little bit of Prussian blue. Well, I was going to use Prussian blue, but unfortunately I am out of Prussian blue. Like completely out of Prussian blue. I have no Prussian blue. I am sans Prussian blue. So I'm going to use a little bit of navy instead. This is Royal Navy. It's not as dark as I would like, but it'll work.
Sheila says, I know I'm getting older because my daughter is all grown up. I asked her what she's doing for New Year's Eve, and she said a puzzle.
Yeah. I think we're playing cards tonight. I think that's the extent of the excitement in our house.
Cards Against Humanity.
No. I think we're playing cards this evening. We're having steak for dinner tonight. So I'm using, this is a 0 rigger. This is small lettering. So I wanted a little control over my lettering.
Sheila's making gumbo.
Don't look at me like that.
Just saying.
Well, I know what we're having tomorrow. I have a beautiful ham.
Ham. I actually found okra yesterday.
Well, I found okra, and it is not an easy thing to find here on the East Coast.
Nope.
So when I did find it, I bought like 3 bags of it.
Yes. And it's good.
It was very good okra. I was very surprised. It's just not something we see often here. So I was looking for it.
Sheila found fresh okra.
Wow. That takes some doing. So I didn't have any Prussian blue, so I'm using Royal Navy. As long as it's a dark blue value, it doesn't really matter what blue it is. I even considered using Payne's Gray. But I thought that might be a little too purple for what I wanted.
Patrick is wondering, what is okra?
Oh, that's a really good one. It's a vegetable that grows in the U.S., southern parts of the U.S. It's used heavily, mainly for stews, because it actually helps thicken things. It has a mild flavor, almost like zucchini.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's something about the texture of it that just works really well with things like gumbos and
fried rice.
Fried rice and red beans. Yeah, yummy.
Fried rice, red beans, and fried okra stuffed inside of a chicken wing. It's so good.
Now, I'm using a little bit of Joe Sonia's to thin my paint for this so that it flows nicely off my brush, which it is.
Do you not eat pork and sauerkraut for good luck on New Year's?
No. Interestingly, I've noticed that there's been a lot of cultural things about New Year's that I wasn't aware of. My family, traditionally, we always had ham. But that changed as time went by, and we would have turkey depending on what we had for Christmas dinner. So if we had turkey at Christmas, we had ham at New Year's, and if we had ham at Christmas, we had turkey at New Year's. And then coming back to the East Coast, it changed yet again, and we would have lobster on New Year's.
Black-eyed peas and cornbread for good luck. Black-eyed peas and hog's jowl.
Ooh.
Yeah, no.
I've never been a fan. It's like pig's feet. Not a fan of those either. It's a texture thing. I'm not keen on the texture of it. But for us, yeah, we had lobster a lot. New Year's.
Fried okra is absolutely wonderful. It's sort of a fuzzy vegetable.
Yeah.
No shortage of okra down south.
No.
Yeah.
But not exactly something that is commonplace in eastern New Brunswick and Canada in the middle of December.
We fry our okra in flour rather than cornmeal.
Now, is that deep fried or pan fried?
Oh, either or. I'd be happy with. Deep fried would be good.
I like okra, and I like okra in certain things.
Armadillo eggs.
You're making him hungry.
I want armadillo eggs now.
Why do you want armadillo eggs?
Oh, they're delicious. That's why.
Okay. I gotta find out what they are and how to make them. So
It's like a jalapeno popper.
okay, made with.
Give me a second.
I know how to make dragon's eggs and gator's eggs. I know how to make those. Jessica, I think I'm going to hit up the new Japanese restaurant for dinner. We butchered the turkey last week. I've had roasted turkey, pot pie, canned the broth, and now canning what's left of the turkey. Good girl.
Armadillo eggs.
Oh, okay. Now I know what they are. Yeah. It's a stuffed jalapeno stuffed inside of a meatball,
Yes. Wrapped in bacon.
wrapped in bacon.
And then smoked.
Ooh. That sounds good. It's mild enough. I could get my smoker out.
You probably get away with it. Deb says I'm eating pizza.
Now we're having steak tonight, and then tomorrow we're having ham. I got sweet potatoes yesterday.
I can't see the Facebook feed.
I can. Valerie Clemens. That's still very slimy when fried. Yeah, I think if you don't care for the texture of it, then it's an issue. I usually cut it up to put into gumbo.
That sounds like dinner at my house on New Year's. We had black-eyed peas, sauerkraut, pork, mashed potatoes, dumplings, homemade biscuits. Ooh. Yum.
That all sounds like Maude, some goody ribs now, eh?
Oh, yeah. Lord, thunder and Jesus. Armadillo eggs are pretty good. I had one at Cookout once. Nice and spicy. The Joe Sonia Flow, are you using it mixed with your paint or in your water?
I use Joe Sonia's Fast Dry Glaze. It's not the Flow Medium. And I use it instead of water. So I dip my brush in this little jar. And I mix that into my paint. And it just helps the paint move really smoothly off the brush.
Stop, I'm going on a liquid diet.
That
was my jaw.
Yeah, I heard it.
Been waiting for it to crack for a while.
Oh, yeah. So, there we go. Pure wool. Funny that I paint this and I'm allergic to wool. I'm violently allergic to wool.
Really? You wear a pashmina scarf, though?
Pashmina is not the same thing. It's from a goat, not from a sheep.
Fair enough. How do you react with merino wool?
I can't wear merino.
No?
No. I cannot wear wool, period. I cannot wear anything coming from a sheep, just like I can't use anything that has lanolin in it.
Oh,
I am violently allergic to that.
Lanolin.
Lanolin. Yep.
It's a pretty blue.
It is a very pretty blue. It's not as dark as I wanted it, but
it's a good thing armadillo eggs aren't eggs. It's meat. And cheese.
Yeah, lobster right now is ridiculous because it's not in season.
Yeah.
And $6 a pound.
That's not bad.
Where are you getting lobster for $6 a pound?
Maine.
So $6, that would make it 8. Yeah, so it's about the same price as here. Yeah. I have to do the exchange rate.
The exchange rate, yeah. $6 a pound is not bad.
No.
But it's also out of season and
Yeah. For us, it's way out of season, so. And I love my lobster. So I'm going to shade this lettering a little bit. I'm going to, because it's not quite as dark as I wanted it to be. The Prussian blue is very dark. So I'm going to pull a little bit of lamp black. I just want to shade the bottom of these letters a little bit.
it's cheddar and cream cheese stuffed inside of a jalapeno, stuffed inside of a meatball, then wrapped
In
in
bacon. And smoked.
and then smoked or seared.
That does sound good.
That's an armadillo egg.
Well, when we're done here, I'm going to go marinate our steaks. So I just put a little shadow at the bottom of each of those letters. They're not quite dark enough down there. So we're going to bring this lettering forward a little bit. We're going to do that with a little bit of asphaltum. And I'm going to pick up a little glaze. So I've thinned out the asphaltum quite a bit. We're going to shade just inside the letter on the background with a little bit of asphaltum. Just a little float. And now all this does is just lifts the lettering off of that surface a little bit. Gives it a little elevation. There we go.
A lot of people got a cold.
Everybody's been sick this year. It's terrible. Hi, Deb. Happy New Year to you, too. Raffin says hello.
Yeah. The troublemaker.
I miss being able to have Maine shrimp. Yes, I know. I miss the East Coast shrimp, too. And they stopped that a number of years ago.
Why was the shrimp population dwindling? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was
Overfished?
interfering with some other marine life here
Oh,
by fishing it. So there we go. I'm liking it. So we're going to put a little highlight on these letters, and then we will be pretty much done with this portion. So I'm going to bring a little bit of warm white in, and I'm going to thin it out quite heavily. And we're going to put a nice little highlight at the top of our letters here. Like so. And we're going to walk that float down a little bit so it comes down about 1/3 of the way. So a little float, the top of the letter. And it's not a neat and tidy float. It can be a little choppy. That's okay. It's not going to hurt.
years ago we were in Maine and had lobster. The restaurant apologized for the price increase to $2 a lobster. Or $8 a lobster, sorry.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at home, they were paying $24 per lobster tail.
Yeah. Well, there is a premium on it right now because it's out of season. So it's a little on the pricey side if you go into the stores. You're paying market prices a little high. Through the summer, though, it's not as cheap as it used to be, but it's, at one time, lobster was considered a poor man's food here on the East
Yeah,
Coast.
it was garbage.
It was the stuff they threw away or threw back. And the fishermen would keep it because it was good eating. You could feed your family with it.
A couple of good lobsters. You got, you got the tails and claws. That's a meal.
Yep.
And then you got the carcass that you can throw and make a lobster broth.
Mm-hmm. Which I still do. I make my
lobster
fish
bisque.
I make my lobster. I keep my shells and make my fish broth with it.
And then add a little cream and you got a bisque.
And we get a bisque.
And you take the legs and you push all the meat out and you got a tasty bisque.
$40 a pound for them. Alaskan king crab. Yeah, they're not cheap anywhere.
I thought there was a pause on Alaskan king crab right now.
There is, because there's none to be had. The price of beef is close to the price of seafood here.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending where you are. Beef is pretty dear right now. So I'm going to put a final highlight on my lettering with just a little stroke of warm white. Just like that. Nothing over the top. This is supposed to have a hand-painted look, which it's going to have anyway, but it's supposed to have, you know, a very simple paint finish. So, little stroke for that final highlight. And we have our lettering. Now to finish off all of this, we're going to grab my pen. And I'm just going to put a sketchy outline around my petals. I love this. Okay, you're hungry again. What's up?
Lobster mac and cheese.
Oh.
Yum. You know what I haven't had in a long time, and I haven't had a good one in a long time?
What?
Lobster roll.
You live on the East Coast.
I know, but I had one at the lighthouse.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But the best one I've had was at oddly enough,
McDonald's.
Gimli.
Oh, seriously? Gimli, Manitoba?
Gimli, Manitoba. They actually had Atlantic lobster.
Oh, okay. Well, that would.
But,
best lobster roll I've ever had was on Grand Manan Island.
oh yeah.
But then again, best lobster I've ever had in my life was on Grand Manan.
But yeah, in Gimli, Manitoba, the same place that does the fish and chips with pickerel.
Mm-hmm.
Best fish and chips you can get anywhere in Western Canada.
Yep.
They had a special for lobster rolls. Apparently they got a good deal on lobster meat, and it was Atlantic lobster.
Yep.
What makes a good lobster roll? A good mayo, preferably a homemade mayo.
Mayo. Having mayo being the first one, yes.
Good fresh green onions.
Yes.
Fresh roll. That's a big one. A nice, good chunk of lobster meat.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be
Not the shreds. You need the good stuff. Claws, tail.
tail.
Yep.
And it has to be in abundance.
Lots of it.
Stuffed lobster roll.
Yep.
And I personally like a little bit of heat in mine. Like a little bit of spice.
Chili flakes.
Yeah, chili flakes. I wouldn't go with chili flakes.
Oh, I would. In the mayo.
You know, maybe not an overly spicy mayo, but something with just punch it up a bit.
So I'm just using my pen to add a nice little outline to things. I love these pens for this reason. They're not a hard, thick line. They're super fine. And so you have control. You can get nice, fine detail with this without looking heavy-handed, which is why I use it. So there we go. Our floral is finished. Nicely detailed with that black gel pen. I love these. A 0.38. This is that ultra black Sakura ink. I love that really black. It's great. So I just gently outline everything. We have one step left to do for this piece. Well, two steps actually. I almost forgot about one. So I'm going to clean out my fugly brush. And I'm going to start with a little bit of warm white for this. So we're going to spatter with a little bit of warm white first. Move that one out of the way. A little bit of warm white. I like this part. I always like spattering things. And then I rinse it out, and we're going to do the same thing again with a little bit of asphaltum. I like how this ages things. And then we're going to do it one more time with a little bit of lamp black. just 'cause. And I like doing it so that it's really fine. I don't want heavy globs of color on there. So I thin it out quite well, and then just a little bit lamp black. Now I'm going to dry this real quick.
Makes a world of difference when you use like homemade mayo instead of like
Herman's mayonnaise. I like Hellman's mayonnaise. That's my favorite.
But a homemade mayo.
A homemade mayo would be delish, yeah. So this is going to be nice and dry. And I'm going to grab my opaque white gel pen. I love my opaque white gel pen. And I'm going to add a highlight all along that chippy edge. Just following the chips. So on that black edge, I'm just going to put a nice fine line of that opaque white. I love this pen for this. You could take your time and do it with a liner brush if you want, but I really like the pen for its accuracy, and it just gives me a nice finish. I just like how it finishes this up.
I can't make mayonnaise. It never works, yet it's so simple. It could be the process.
It's one of those things, if you over blend, it goes apart, falls apart. It's like doing meringue.
Yeah.
You can over blend it. Yeah.
And you have to know when to pour in vinegar.
Yeah. Slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah. It's like making the fish sauce that I make.
Tartar?
The tartar sauce.
Yeah.
Again, brain. Hello.
Tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce. Couldn't get there from here.
What make is that pen?
This one is an Arteza. And I do have some of these in stock. So we just haven't changed the photo yet, but
Still running on that old white pen photo?
yeah.
Oh.
But we do have these in stock, the Artezas. I love them. I like the Uniball one, works well too. Still have some of those in stock as well. But either one will do the job. It's just I went looking for a good quality pen to replace the Uniball because the Uniballs were getting ridiculously expensive to ship. So I went to the Arteza for the white gel, and we went to this Feng Taiwan for the black. I also got this one for the red, and they've been fantastic. I just love them both. So I'm going to dry this. I just love how that looks. I don't know what it is. Just makes me happy.
Oh, Debbie Daniker. That's a pretty good bucket list thing to have.
Yeah. Eating lobster and salmon in Canada with my family. It's in our grandkids. Lobster, if I can give you a piece of advice, if you're going to come to the eastern part of Canada for lobster, don't go west.
Don't.
For God's sake. Come to Atlantic Canada and you can have the best Atlantic salmon on the planet, bar none.
Yep.
Yeah. We grow the best salmon out here. And we also pretty damn good lobster too.
Actually, what was it?
Can these pens have matte medium brushed over them with spraying first? If you spray them first, absolutely. You can brush matte medium or varnish or whatever over top, but definitely spray them first. Always recommend spraying it if you're starting to mix media, if you're going to add something, if you're never sure, spray it.
So, New Brunswick alone, there's 2 salmon fisheries that are world-renowned.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lobster fishery that's world-renowned.
Mm-hmm.
But that depends if you like wild-caught or farmed.
Yeah.
If you like farmed,
Yep.
not too bad. And
Well,
then the world's best sturgeon caviar comes from
New Brunswick as well.
New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one that kind of caught me off guard that I didn't know until we had lamb the other night.
Yeah.
the best lamb in the world right now
Yeah. Comes from New Brunswick.
comes from New Brunswick.
Yep.
It beat out the New Zealand lamb.
Yeah.
That's the funny
To take
part.
the title. So our little background is all finished. All this will need is a light spray before I hit it with a couple of coats of varnish. But yep, that's all we need to do to that. And this one's got a finished back. So I'm kind of happy about that.
Sheila had to bring that up.
Oh,
Digby
best
scallops.
Digby scallops. There's nothing better than Digby scallops. I know I have some in my freezer right now.
I'm going to Canada in our dreams list.
Yeah. For the time being, we are heavily thinking about going to spend 2 weeks in New York City next summer. Don't know if it's feasible yet.
New York City?
New York City? I'd do 2 weeks in New York.
No.
Oh yeah, you could.
I am not a fan of concrete jungles.
No, but New York City is. I think it's one of those things you got to do once. It's like Las Vegas.
No, I have no interest in
I
going
know.
to Vegas.
But Vegas, I think, even though I don't have any real, but yeah, I think it's one of those places you got to do once.
Well, my bucket list thing was to go to BC, and then the Army sent me out there, and I went, thank you.
Yeah.
And I went to where I wanted to go in BC. I wanted to be up in the mountains. I wanted to be up in the foresty areas. And I got exactly that.
Sheila, I'm not a scallop lover, but I do love them. Fresh and sweet off the boat. There is nothing better. Lobster, same thing.
Freshly shucked.
Yeah. I go just so I can pilfer some of the shells.
I know, some of
'Cause
the
when you
shells are pretty.
Oh, well, they're pretty, but they're huge.
Yeah.
And they're a size of the dinner plate. I love them. Okay, so we're going to start on this little guy. And this, to me, is probably the most difficult part of this piece, is painting this lamb. And when you see how I did it, you're going to realize it's not that difficult. So the brush that I'm using for this one is this. This is a Dynasty fountain brush, and the size is a number 4, so it's one of the smaller ones. You can use any size, but essentially, if you have a look at this, it's been designed so all of the bristles spray out like a fountain. So it's hollow in the middle, and then it has this nice little ring of very fine bristle all the way around the outside. And so we're using this one. It's a number 4. That's going to create all of that wonderful little texture. So I'm going to get this wet, and we're going to dip into a little bit of warm white, just like that. And it is a little round. So we're going to do this. So I'm making a series of little circles like that all over, just by tapping straight up and down. Just like so.
It's like cheating.
So, see? Not so hard. And I'm going to do the same thing along here. Just a series of circles. And again along there.
$24.99 a pound?
For lobster in some places, yeah.
What?
It got that expensive during the pandemic.
Oh, that I believe.
Oh, yeah. Even here. Because the boats weren't out, so. So, I did that first layer. Just like that. So I've got a whole series of little circles everywhere. And I'm going to dry this.
Lived in Nova Scotia for 10 years. Loved it. Now I live on the West Coast.
The left coast.
The wrong coast.
Our Christmas gift was getting our son back to Canada from Vegas after he and his workmates were robbed of all of their belongings a few blocks from the airport. Don't think he will have a return visit. No, I don't think so either. Good heavens. So once this is dry, you're going to come back in and do it again. Only this time you get less water in the brush.
Could you use a deerfoot stippler?
Sure
the
you
same
could.
effect?
Yep, sure you could. So it's just that each following coat that you do gets a little brighter white. So it's a little more opaque. So the first one went on it was a little transparent because I used a lot of glaze in it. So the second batch that I pick up is a little more opaque. And I maintain that round pattern so that it just mimics the curls in the sheep's coat. And it does create a nice little texture.
I saw one in there. They were saying like, "Oh, you're allergic to everything sheep, like wool and lanolin and all that." And they asked, "What about goat?"
Goat doesn't bother me.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
goat's milk's fine.
Goat's milk is
Explains
fine.
why pashmina was so easy to pawn on to you.
Yeah. Well, pashmina is made from goat's hair.
Yeah.
And it is super soft and super warm, and but it is not.
I brought a
sheep's.
crap ton of pashmina back for her.
Yeah. I have lots of pashmina. So I'm going to put on another layer, a little more sparse this time, and a lot more white paint. So this gives us that round texture, that curly texture.
The name of the brush
is a fountain.
is a fountain
It's a
brush.
Dynasty Black Gold fountain, and it's a number 4.
And no, she doesn't carry them.
Nope, they are available on the Brush Guys, though. I got some brushes to try the other day.
Oh, prototypes?
No, they're a new line from a different brush company, but they arrived in my mailbox the other day.
Oh, yeah, they want to see what you can do
Well,
with them?
they're riggers.
Oh, signage brushes.
Yeah. So, but they're not a Dynasty brand, so I'm not going to show them, but
Yeah. Try them out?
I wanted to try them out.
How are they so far?
I haven't played with them yet.
No?
So I'm interested. I always like to check out new brushes, and because these ones are a rigger, I wanted to see if they worked like mine.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Know anything about them? Or?
I only know the manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a recent thing. So I'm going to play with them a little bit, and once I form an opinion, I'll be able to tell everybody about them. But just interesting. Until then, I'm going to keep it to myself. So with a fountain brush, we've created all of this texture for our little sheep, but we need to build a little bit of depth. So I'm going to, now that this is dry, I'm going to take my thin dish Faltum, and we're going to create a few little shadows. So little shadow underneath. Okay, get a little more paint on your brush. So I need a little shadow under here and along here. Remember, he's got a, I wanted to say necklace, but he has a collar on. So I'm going to put a float there and another one here. And then I'm going to put a nice little float on this side, give it a little shape, and a little float on that side. So have a little bit of a Spaltum over here. And then we're going to take that fountain back again. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of that warm white. Remember that? And we're going to just pop a little bit in a few places. I just want to put a few little highlights in now that we have that shadow established. I just want to bring some of that light back. There we go. So now we've got texture and we have shape. So I'm going to give this a little time to dry, and we're going to work on his face a little. Now, if you have a look here, he's got a little bit of texture on the tops of his ears and on his face. And I'm going to do that with this. So I'm going to load up my brush with a fair amount of glaze, and I'm going to use a little bit of thinned warm white. And I do mean thin. It's very watery white. And I'm going to use my brush on its side, like so. So I'm just using the flat edge of it. It's almost like diamond shaped, I guess. So I'm just going to use a little bit, just tap it on. There we go. So I've got a little highlight at the top of. Now I'm going to take that, still have glaze and paint in my brush, and I'm just going to tap a highlight onto his face, like so. So there's very little paint and lots of glaze in my brush, but it just creates this sort of texture along his face. And there is very little color in that brush. So when I go back over, it gets a little bit brighter. We're going to do the same thing on the cheeks. Just keep in mind the shape of that face when you're doing this. So yeah, you could easily do this with, and then remember he's got a chin, so put a little on his chin. And by doing that tap, it just gives that texture that we need. We don't want a smooth float because they're not smooth. They have a little bit of texture around them. And do that to the ears. And it is paint, so if you mess it up, it's easy to fix. It's just paint. So we've got a little bit of shape coming along. And then you can take your smaller angled shader and a little bit of lamp black. So our sheep looks a little heavy-handed, so I'm going to bring some of the shape of his face back by floating a little bit of lamp black into that curve. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So we get that shape back, just so that we don't lose those wonderful shapes under the mouth, on the chin. And then we are ready to start adding a few little details. Now I want to base coat these eyes, the round of that eye, with a little bit of warm white. Now I'm using a blue for the eyes. You don't have to. You could do them brown if you wanted to, but I wanted blue for the eyes, just because it ties in nicely with that color in the background. So everybody that is on their way out, if you're not sticking around, have a happy new year. I know people have things to do, family events to go to. So make sure you have a safe and happy. So now that this is dry, those white eyeballs, I think mine are a little too far apart. I think I painted my eyes too far apart. And this is how hard this is to fix. Okay. I made a boo-boo here, so I have to fix it. It is just paint after all. So I'm going to fix this section because I really messed it up. And I have an eyeball that is not in the right place at all. So just painting that section back in with the lamp black. And I'll pick up a little bit of warm white. And I'm going to put my eyeball back in, but I'm going to put it in the right place this time. So that's better. Did mess things up a little bit. Good grief. There. Okay. Let's try this again. So, I'm going to paint in the eyes with a little bit of Bahama Blue. So I'm going to paint that whole thing Bahama Blue. And I went with the white because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get the coverage we want. So there we go. A couple of things I got to straighten out, but oh, believe me, there's days when I can screw up the Lord's Prayer. So, you know, I am by no means perfect. So the interesting thing about doing the eyes on sheep or on goats is because they don't have an eye like horse or like cats and dogs or humans. So it's not a round iris. It's actually a rectangle, which can be a little unnerving. Personally, I find that shape a little odd, but so I'm just putting a little rectangle across the center of the eyeballs. Oh, thank you, Marjorie. Hope you have a blessed and happy new year as well. Yes, a zombie lamb. Okay. So I'm going to dry this real quick. I know this is kind of creepy at this point, and I'm going to use a little bit of that same blue that I used for the lettering is my shading color for these eyes. Ordinarily it would be the Prussian blue. In this case, I'm using Royal Navy. And we're going to shade the top of the eye with a float of that Royal Navy. Just like so. And then we're going to add a highlight to the bottom of the eye. We need a little bit of highlight down here. So a little dot of white there and there. And then right on the iris on the upper left. So we have eyeballs. And then we're going to start adding some fun little details to this little guy. I have to put the texture back in around that eye. Where's my fountain brush? I'm going to come back in and get some of my thinned warm white here. I need to put some of my texture back in over here. There we go. There we are. I'm a fan. So we're going to put a little eyelash in. So I'm going to make a gray because I don't have any on my palette. So I'm going to make a nice light gray. Thin that out. We're going to put in a nice little lid and some lashes on our sheep. So a little bit of lashes around the eye. heavens, I cannot get a fine line to save me today. Here we go. So I'm going to switch to a finer brush and add a little more weight to this gray because it's not cutting it. There we go. So we have some lashes on my sheep. Now I'm going to have to fix a little something here because this is bugging me. The bottom of my eye is a little too something. There we go. And then we're going to do that nose with that lighter gray value. Just a little stroke. It's a little comma stroke, actually. And along there. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of raw sienna and
It looks like he's related to Bob.
yeah, he does look like he's related to Bob. He's a little cockeyed, I think. I cannot find my raw sienna.
Zombie sheep.
Okay, I got a little bit of raw sienna. Okay, you can use honey brown, raw sienna. Just need a light brown color for his little collar here.
Robin Storm wants to paint a bow in her hair.
You can go right ahead.
Painter's tape at the top of her head makes me want to paint a bow in her hair.
A little bit of raw sienna. So she's got that.
Little collar.
Yeah. I got a couple of things I want to clean up a little bit. But that's just me. I'll putz with this till the cows come home, to pardon the expression, but I do love.
I saw a video of sheep shearing competitions.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Those sheep look so excited to get sheared.
They do, because it's a major relief to get rid of all of that.
And they just take it. They're just yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Ah, oh. And I'm still amazed how much wool comes off of a sheep.
Oh yeah. There we go. Well, it's, it's good for the animal to get sheared. And it feels good, but it's always fun to watch them. And some of the guys that shear sheep, holy smokes, tang tungler. I mean, that's a job. I'm just fixing a couple of things, tidying up my little sheep here. I still have wonky eyes on this one. She looks like somebody smoked her with a hammer. Just, I'm sorry, but her eyes aren't even level. It's terrible. Terrible. Just terrible. Poor little sheep is wonky. See what I mean? Look. I tried to fix it and made a mess of it. It's terrible.
Patrick, I was sheared yesterday. I feel much better.
I know it works for me.
Okay, I had my hair and beard cut.
That always is like going for a haircut. Always feels so good when you get your haircut. So we're going to add a little shading to our, I want to call it, keep wanting to call it a necklace, but it's not a necklace. To our belt, collar, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to deepen a few shadows on my sheep.
Yes, a bell or a number tag hanging off the collar would top it off.
Yep.
Is that part of the pattern?
No, it's not. But yeah, it would finish it off quite nicely.
I think an ear tag would have.
An ear tag, but it's the sheep's on the ear tag, so.
It's kind of the opposite.
Yeah. Okay, this is driving me bananas. That eyeball is not in the right place. It, call me old school, but this will drive me to distraction if I don't fix it.
It's a pirate sheep now.
Yeah, it's a one-eyed sheep. So it's one of those things, right? It's, if I don't fix it, it's going to drive me absolutely insane. And as you all know, that is a very short trip. So I'm fixing the eyeballs because this will drive me nuts. And that's why, because the eyebrow, that brow line was too low.
Could have made him winking.
Yeah, it's very hard to wash long hair with one hand. It's hard to wash hair with one hand, period, Robin. Hence the reason I have this whole 70s haircut thing. I'm trying to grow it out so I can do something else with it. So instead I have to make do with the 1970s football helmet. So, okay. Let's see if I can get this right this time.
I think we should get you a tattoo on your neck.
On my neck?
Yeah, just a little tattoo on your neck.
Yeah.
Just like a ship number or something.
Okay.
Battleship Gray. Ship number.
He doesn't want to live past midnight.
I think it'd be a funny tattoo. Even if it was just a temporary tattoo.
Funny, haha. Okay, so I'm going to put my texture back in because I like my texture. And let's see how I do this time.
A little bit of finger painting.
A little finger painting. And there it is. I knew I had a circle maker somewhere. Okay, so this drives me absolutely insane when things are not straight and level, because that's just how my brain works. So I'm going to make new eyeballs. And I'm going to draw in new eyeballs. And I want them roughly the same size. Jeez. There we go. So, circle. Okay, I'm happier with that. And they need to be flippin' level. They got to be at the same size. Otherwise, he looks like somebody hammered him. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? Because Lord knows, this would push me over the edge. I am not a perfectionist by any stretch of the imagination, but there are certain things that drive me nuts, and when things are not lined up the way they're supposed to be,
or symmetrical,
the way they're supposed to be. It's not OCD, it's CDO. Yeah. Alphabetical order, as it should be. So, now I have two eyeballs. Two nice bright white eyeballs.
That is a creepy looking sheep right now.
It is a creepy looking sheep right now.
One of us.
Yeah, that would, no. No. Okay, so.
Get a Children of the Corn looking sheep.
Yeah, no kidding. Zombie sheep. So, I did a little online shopping the other day.
Bob's his uncle.
Bob's his uncle. Ooh, good one. I was doing a little online shopping the other day. Well, online window shopping, I think, would be a better.
Whatever happened to it does not have to be perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be straight and level. And this poor fellow looked like his, like somebody had hit him with a hammer and he hadn't recuperated well. So, I have blue eyes. You could do these with brown.
You could have just said it was like a mountain sheep.
I could have. Yeah, it fell off the mountain.
Yeah. Lost his grip one day.
Yeah, just
Oops.
Oops-a-daisy.
Have you seen videos of those rams that like walk up the sides of cliffs?
Yep. I've seen them do that.
Yeah, it's just
amazing. Okay. So, as creepy as it is, yeah. At least now they're level. He had one eye, drooping, and like he looked like he'd had a stroke. It was terrible. So, we can't have a. Yes, Jerry, I'm glad you're with me. The eyeball thing, it drives me nuts. He hit his head while being sheared. Yeah, zombie goat. Pretty close. Okay, I feel better now. I will feel even more better when I get these eyes fixed. Not looking for perfection, because if I was, then this would take an awful lot longer. So I've got a nice little float of that navy at the top part of the eye. So I've got a nice light value at the bottom. That's going to give us a nice room for our highlights. And I'm going to use a little bit of warm white. And on the lower right, just here, I'm going to put a little highlight. And on the upper portion of the eyeball, on that left, and make sure it overlaps the pupil a little bit. See, he's looking better already. A little less Children of the Cornish. A little bit.
a little bit.
And I'm going to make a very light valued gray.
Zombie cookie.
A little bit of slate gray, light valued gray. Gray sky, I think, is what I used in the pattern.
He looks alert.
He does now. So I'm going to shape his eye by putting on a little bit of a lid. And then going to get some lashes. Yes, much better. So shape the lid. And then he's getting a few little lashes. Oh yes, much, much better. He doesn't quite look so psychotic now. And I'm going to pull in a little bit of texture here just to give his eye a nice little shape. Need a little more white. There we go. There. I feel better now. It's a me thing. I gotta fix stuff. Not that I want it perfect. I don't want it perfect, but it's got to be straight. A little bit of texture. And I'll brighten some highlights along the face. And I think we're just about there. There we go. I'm happier now.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look Children of the Cornish. So I'm going to put a final shading on his little... Where did my asphaltum go? There it is. Okay. Needs a little shading here and under his chin on that little belt. I like deepen a few little things. You can brighten, you can play with this until, pardon the expression, the sheep come home. But, but I love the texture of this. You button it.
I thought the sheep jokes were done.
No. We have an opportunity here and we cannot pass it up. I do love that this little fountain brush gives you such great little texture, you know, a great little bit of texture in here. And there is our little sheepses. So to mount this, you can use just a small little piece of wood. I actually used a wooden button. Glue it onto the back of your sheep and then add glue to the button and then decide where you're going to glue your piece down. So once it's there, make sure you leave it laying flat until it's completely dry so that it doesn't slide down the board, because I've had that happen. We don't want to do that. And then you have this fun little pure wool sheep tag. I love this one in conjunction with all of the others. I think strung with a piece of cording and a few little wooden beads, they would make such cute decorations to hang in a window or just to hang on the wall in the kitchen. I just think that these are a fun little project and super easy to do.
Give me a second.
Give you a second.
Let's switch cameras. And I have a wheel saved.
Yay, we have a wheel. Almost forgot about the wheel.
That is not the right one. Where did I have it saved? Right there.
I don't know. Yep, 70s football helmet. I almost have like a whole Margaret Thatcher thing going with this hair.
Please no.
It's getting there.
Yeah? No?
Sheila, I forgot about the wheel too.
There we go. You got a wheel.
So I'll just repeat. We've got 3 really great giveaways for today. They're Tombow drawing sets. So they have a mechanical pencil and a set of their professional artists' pencils as well. And then just for giggles, we put in a nice little electric eraser as well. And then, of course, we always throw in some other little goodies from us. So we have 3 of those today. So their value is probably around $35 or $40 US, which is a nice little giveaway for the day, I think.
And you got 3 of them?
And we have 3 of them.
No. 3 is a nice number.
Renee is going to spin that wheel.
Off we go.
Yep. Margaret Thatcher comes to mind when I see that hair.
And the first one goes to Olivia Manari.
Nice. So as always, guys, if you want to collect your giveaway gift, then head over to my website at tracymoreau.net. Click on the little speech bubble in the lower right-hand corner of the homepage and send us a message with your shipping information so that we can get your goodies out to you as soon as possible.
Olivia Manari.
Awesome.
Here's one. And take name off the list.
Yep.
Gotta wait for it to actually remove it.
The eye tutorial was greatly appreciated. That's me messing things up and then having to fix the things that I messed up. Because I do mess things up, believe me.
You want to lean a little bit that way so they can see your face and you're not hiding behind the wheel?
Oh, I was hiding behind the wheel?
There we go. Say it again. Do, 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 do.
And how many names are on the wheel today?
230.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Carol Beagley.
Carol Beagley. Right on.
Beagley?
Yep. Awesome.
Beagley.
Well, I've been trying to, yes, my hair is fine. I have a lot of it, but it is fine. But right now it just looks like a helmet. I've kind of gotten past the
I can only do
battleship.
so much with the cameras.
I know. Yeah. The camera puts on 10 pounds and all of it went on my hair.
And wait for it to be removed. Good. There we go. And
Awesome.
last but not least, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Who's this? What's a short name? Fillerful? Fillerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fillerful.
Fillerful.
Yep. So we know that that's not your actual real name. So please make sure you go to the website and click on the little speech bubble and send us your shipping information so that we can get it out to you. Any prizes that are unclaimed after 2 weeks go back in the bin. If we don't receive your shipping information, then and we're not able to find you through the website, then unfortunately it goes back in the bin. So,
And ready to be claimed by somebody else.
and then we'll use it for other giveaways. So that is it for today, guys. I hope you have a very safe and very happy new year. And I wanted to tell you, thank you so much for joining us every day for the last 365 days that you've been coming and joining us on Saturdays. We appreciate it very much, and we love doing it. It's a lot of fun. So we have a surprise for you for next Saturday. We have some really great giveaways. We have some nice things to give away. So join us next Saturday. I will be posting the pattern for next Saturday on Monday. So we have lots to do between now and then. Get ready for a new series and have a great, happy new year. And if you decide to indulge, please don't drive.
Yeah, don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. Have a great new year. We love you, and please stay safe. Mwah. Bye.
And as always,
Hug your puppers.
pet your dog. I gotta go take mine for a walk. Happy New Year.